Pretty much the moment where I fell out of love with football. I was sort of away from home, not in a good spot, thinking, what's going on? Was I really that good of a footballer to begin with? And mum and dad would call. I wouldn't pick up the phone because I didn't want to tell them, I didn't have a good day. Sort of felt like I was letting them down a bit because, they've invested so much into me getting there. And then that I wasn't producing, it was kind of like, it was frustrating. I was able to make my debut quite young under Mike Mulvey at Brisbane Roar. It was my second season playing as a starter with Brisbane Roar. I felt like it was probably too early to leave after my first season of, having a few games under my belt. If I can back it up the next year, there's no reason for me to sort of have a shot.
Now Borrello inside the box, it's open up for Brandon Borrello!
Inside Borrello, he's placed it in!
Play on because Borrello will shoot! Oh, Brandon Borrello! That's a peach of a goal!
I had Jamie McLaren on my side, we were scoring goals, assisting goals, and we had Thomas Boyish as a bit of a mentor. Kaiserslautern came calling, found myself complete culture shock. I've hardly been overseas, I've not been to Germany, and now I'm playing at this, massive club, and it was like, oh, what am I doing here? Am I in the right place? So I needed a bit of time to, hit the ground running, and my first year at Kaiserslautern, where we played against Union Berlin. I think they went up that year. We played them at home in the snow, and I've never seen snow before. And I just had one of those games where, everything seems to click.
Aus 5-3-2 und 5-2-3. Was für ein Tor! Borrello! Relativ viel Wiese da auf der linken Seite. Tor! 2-1.
Somehow we've beaten them 4-3, and I've scored a goal from about 35 metres out, won a penalty, set up a header, and that was probably, one of my biggest achievements. I got to move to Freiburg in the Bundesliga, then I went to Düsseldorf. Didn't necessarily have my best year, but I got to play regular minutes. And then I went to Dresden, where I played regular minutes at the start, and then it sort of dwindled out. Starting to breaking my foot, breaking my finger, breaking my nose, getting COVID. I just couldn't seem to, break this cycle of, constantly bad things happening, even though I thought, I'm doing the right things, but couldn't seem to get ahead. And then at the time after Christmas, the team wasn't doing too well. The fans are on you a bit, and we got relegated. And it just happened to be my first club that we played, Kaiserslautern. We got relegated by them. Off the back of not having a good season with Dresden, not having a contract, going into negotiations, people saying, we don't want to sign him because he's been injured, he's injury prone. I'm in my head saying, I'm not injury prone, I've not torn a muscle, I've not done this, I've not done that. The only problem is if I do get injured, I seem to do it really well. I'll either break a bone or tear a ligament. It's funny how football works, and I sort of realised, I really have it in me to go again, And I saw my chances sort of slipping with the national team, and it's like, well, you know what? I only got into the national team when I was enjoying football. So there needs to be a little bit of a change, and my fiance now and I, we sort of spoke about it, touched on going back to Australia, sort of, seeing what happens there. Just so happened to be, the biggest advantage of the A-League was we got a massive pre-season. Marko Rudan, our coach, he gave me a call. It lasted only about 15 minutes, but I was pretty much sold. He sort of nurtured me, coming back, making sure I was all right. He saw, a spot in the team where I could probably do the best, and that was, eventually putting me up front, where it sort of all seemed to come together.
By Jones, and how about that for a finish? Here's Brandon Borrello, had to be him. Makoto's ball in the header, and it's in! And it's Brandon Borrello again!
It was just a good feeling, something that I hadn't had in a while, and I think that sort of translated onto the pitch.
Threads it through, it's Brandon Borrello! Yet again!
Even though mum and dad aren't in Sydney, they're in Brizzy, they flew down every opportunity they had, or they'd drive down. They were just over the moon for me. And they just saw a massive change in terms of the person that they know I am. Family saw that, friends saw that, and it was just good because everyone got around it, and it was nice to have that sort of security blanket, that network there that sort of pushed me along throughout the season. I feel right at home in the West. Being a part of the West now, living in the West, it's crazy. I guess I didn't really expect, the reception that I was going to get from, some people in the community. Our boss does a really good job of installing that in the players. He makes sure every player understands the community that we represent. We're the fortunate ones. We get to go out and play football for a living. There's some other people that don't get to do that. They have to grind and really hustle to sort of get through life. So we don't take what we do for granted. I guess the players are a representation of the community, and I think it really goes hand in hand as to what we're trying to do. Eventually got my shot of going overseas. I spent, 5.5 years there. Had some ups, had some downs, but now I'm really enjoying football back in Australia and in Sydney especially.